Hey everybody, Buzzsaw Gaming here with my little retro gaming buddy, Mr. Buzzsaw right there hanging out. And in the background on the CRT, Ninja Warriors playing on the Super Nintendo right there on the Sony Trinitron. Anyways, wanted to talk about the top 5 best looking consoles. Now this is obviously extremely subjective. Everyone's going to have their own opinion, and not that the looks matter as opposed to the actual gameplay and the overall quality of the system. But anyways, you know, the looks do matter when you were a kid and when you're younger, and you know, when you're setting up your game room or your living room or something like that. It definitely does matter. So that's why I have a top 5 best looking consoles. Oh, right here is Ninja Warriors. I always like the intro right here. Anyways, number 5, PlayStation 4 Pro. Now this is specific to PlayStation 4 Pro. I know the original PlayStation 4 is a little bit different, but the Pro is just really cool. It's got these 3 levels right here. It's just interesting. It's a modern, you know, looking system. Like the really new systems right now, like PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox and all that, I'm just not into. I don't like the way they look at all. I think probably as far as like a semi-modern system, the PlayStation 4 is the best looking. It's big, it's huge, it's got these cool angles on it. It's got the, you know, the eject and power buttons are right here, and they're kind of hidden. It's kind of got that Darth Vader look. I've always really dug this, and when you stick it under a TV, it looks really good. So that's my opinion. Number 5 of the best looking consoles. Next, number 4 right here, the original Xbox. Now when this came out, I mean, this was my system during the 6th generation. As you know, I grew up with Color Computer 2, then the original Nintendo, then Super Nintendo, N64, and by this generation I was tired of Nintendo. I didn't like the direction they took at the time. Now I love the GameCube, but Xbox was my system, and I just love the way it looked. I mean, look at this thing. It is a big giant, it literally is an X. It is huge, and it's fat, and it's heavy. It's a lot of like the PlayStation 4 Pro, but you know, a early 2000s version, I guess. It's got the 4 ports in the front, you know, intuitive buttons right there, ejection button, power button, all that. So I just really dug this. It's got the, you know, internal hard drive, which is, you know, something new at the time. It just oh, there's Mr. Buzzsaw moving around a bit. So anyways, yeah, this number 4 is the original Xbox. I just think it looks cool. I like it. I like black systems in general, as you can tell from this list, so you'll notice a theme about that. Now, number 4, Atari Jaguar. Now, Mr. Buzzsaw is blocking almost the whole console right there, but when this came out, I mean, this was just awesome. It was just so cool looking. I just remember back in the day going to those stores. I mean, Electronics Boutique and Babbage's, and you know, back then it was just a cornucopia of stuff. When you went in there, you found you know, computer games for like 286, 386 computers. You found all kinds of stuff, Commodore games. You found Nintendo games. You found Super Nintendo games, and then later there was these huge displays with Jaguar all over the place, and you know. Thinking it was going to be the next best thing, you know, 64 bits of power, you know, all that advertisement that they had. So, and then just the design of it looks cool. It's like a spaceship. I like the lettering, the red lettering right there. It's just an awesome looking system. Now, Mr. Buzzsaw is blocking the cartridge, but I think the cartridges look cool as well. The kind of curved top that they have. Oh, there we go. He's going to show it for us right there. So the kind of curved top that it has right there. So I really dug the styling of it. It's not very heavy either. I mean, for all that power, it's definitely not that heavy. So And also, the game right there is Skyhammer. That was a game that that was in development during Jaguar's life, but never came out during his life because of the the issues that Jaguar had at the time. But that game was just revolutionary as well. It just showed off the 3D capabilities of the Jaguar, and it's a really cool dystopian world type Blade Runner type game. The music is awesome. So yeah, that was really cool. But anyways, yeah, number 4, or I should say number 3, is the Atari Jaguar as far as best looking consoles in my opinion. Number 2, the original Model 1 Sega Genesis. I mean, this thing was awesome. I loved looking at this thing. I remember going to school. I didn't have a Sega Genesis. Growing up, some kids had it. I didn't. I had a original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and I was always yearning for TurboGrafx. But Sega Genesis, I remember just going to stores and just seeing it for display with Altered Beast, and it looked so cool. And just the original model right here is just so cool looking. I always loved it. It's black, it's sleek, the cartridges are cool. Oh, see, Mr. Buzzsaw agrees as well. It's just so cool. And as far as it's got the little volume thing on there, it's got the reset, the on-off. It proudly displays 16 bits, right there. It's got a little headphone jack as well. I just really like it. And when it's paired up with the the Sega CD attachment underneath, it just looks really cool. It's just an awesome system. I really loved it. I'm so happy to have a Sega Genesis nowadays. The original, everything I have, I connect with the original just composite cables up to the CRT. So everything is basically just like in the 80s or 90s. So nothing's really changed. As you know, if you saw my game room tour, my whole place is really 80s, 90s themed. It's not nothing fancy at all. I mean, like the TV I have, I mean, I got for free. I had to drive like 100 miles to get it, but I got it for free. This little table underneath, I got it for $6 at Goodwill. It just reminds me of the 90s, so, and it's super simple. So yeah, that's just the way it is. Oh, there goes Mr. Buzzsaw hanging out on the original Model 1 Sega Genesis. Now, when they came out with the Model 2, I didn't like it as much. And they came out with the Model 3, I believe I didn't like it as much. And by then, I was, done with this generation. I was going on to Nintendo 64 and other things anyways by that time. So I was already not paying attention. And also, Sega Genesis, like the cart right there as Outrun. Just the artwork on it, too, is so cool. I mean, just, yeah. So just, my number 2 pick right here. Mr. Buzzsaw knows where I'm going. Is the Sega Genesis right there. And number 1, best looking console of all time, in my opinion, TurboGrafx 16. And right there I have the Hue card as well for Splatterhouse. And yeah, this was just something completely different at the time. You can imagine we had these like, big cartridges for those old, Ataris and Color Computer 2s, the original Nintendo. And then TurboGrafx 16 came out with this tiny little card, and it would play a game. I mean, it was just amazing. It was just the coolest thing at the time. I mean, just something you just didn't see. And then when you could find out that you could hook it up with your Turbo Express and take the same game on the road, I mean, it was just amazing. But about the system itself and the way it looks, I mean, I just love the way this system looks. It's so cool. I'm glad they redesigned it because PC Engine, I just never liked the way PC Engine looks. I think they did a great job as far as the branding, the naming. I mean, obviously not as good a job as they should have because they didn't stick around very long. But it's just an awesome looking system. I'm glad they redesigned it. I didn't like the way the PC Engine looked. I think this is way cooler, much more interesting. Yeah, I wish they would have had a second controller port and stuff like that, but it's just super cool. And the back part, that huge detachment, I think that's cool too, even. I mean, that's something you just don't see that anymore. Like nowadays, like everything is, oh, Mr. Buzzsaw. Everything is now plain vanilla. Everything's the same. There's not much change anymore. But back then, I mean, everything was unique. Everything was like, everyone was just experimenting, trying new things. I mean, it was just awesome. I mean, put the little Hue card right in there. So I had a really good time with the TurboGrafx 16. And at the time, you know, I was young, you know, I didn't have my own money, anything like that. So I would always send out for catalogs or VHSs. I mean, I did this with everything. I mean, I did this with tractors. I mean, I did it with all kinds of stuff. So my parents got angry. I always got different mailing lists like I put on. Because at the time, that's all you had. You had like a little card. You could fill it out, and then, you know, the company will send you their promotional either catalog, or back then it was VHS, and you'd plug it into the VHS and you'd watch a little, you know, a commercial. And that's exactly what I did for TurboGrafx 16. I had their promotional video, and I would just watch it over and over and over again. And you know, I was wishing so much to get a TurboGrafx 16. I never did. My best friend had one, so I played a lot of TurboGrafx 16 back in the day, and you know, I was always rooting for the underdog. But anyways, I think it's just so cool looking. It's my best looking system, I think, as far as these top 5. And as far as all the systems right now, I'm just not digging the way they look anymore. But back in the day, we can always reminisce of these good looking top 5 best looking consoles of all time. All right, that's Mr. Buzzsaw right there signing out. Thank you so much. Please subscribe and like and comment down below. Have a wonderful day.